let's get started. At 1 minute to 11 o'clock at night. It's a fine way to start the midday of night. Alright, let's disconnect this. No power. Alright, we got no power. Let's see what it actually says when we try to MagSafe it. Travis, Miles, Andre. Blazing Magazine, good evening. Attila, Andrew. Ah, g'day Andrew, here's. Okay, we do have a fan spin. 600. That's pretty normal to me. This is a 165. Okay. Alright, so boots and everything like that. Well, we've got a couple of things. Let's see what it's like when we put the battery in. Maybe the battery's killing it. Or it's quite likely we've got classic corrosion on the other side that has shifted around. No, that's still good. Yeah, so it's probably corrosion on the other side that has shifted around during transit, and so it's going to need a clean up. We'll see. We'll see. I could be wrong. La 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 la. First I gotta find my screwdriver. La la la. Right, got that. Alexandra, Mladen. Oh, Yasko. Barry. Max Power. Oh, Max Power, yes, I know that name. Hello, Max Power. $10:37. In Nairobi it's afternoon. Well, it's every time of the day somewhere in the world, isn't it? I still haven't gotten myself I haven't picked out a side trolley yet. I've been looking at them and just trying to decide which one I want to get. Hey, Michael Kiram's here too. Okay, come on Paul, focus on the task. A bit frazzled today. Lost a few hours of hard work and more importantly quite a few insightful moments. This is when I'm trying to work on the TiVo view file format decoding, and I managed to decode quite a number of things and I wrote down the patterns, but then I kind of botched up I don't know, something happened and I inadvertently overwrote the pattern file, and I did have some backups, but naturally of course the backups were prior to my moments of inspiration and understanding, so I had to go through and redo it all again, and that was very frustrating. So, oh well, that'll teach me for not committing my changes every 5 seconds. Hey, Terry Taylor. Oh yes, rain. We've probably got about 40 millimeters this afternoon, and what I've been building a new fence for the new enclosure for the cats. It's not for ours, it's for the wildlings, and I got all the holes dug yesterday finally. And then today, yeah, we get 40 mil of rain and it just filled up everything, and naturally a lot of the loose dirt, washed back in. So tomorrow I'm gonna have to, if it is dry enough, I'll go back out there and I'll have to clear out the sludge from the holes, and of course the holes are about 700 deep, so it's not much fun. It's a bit, bit of a arduous process by hand with a spade, but it is what it is. Can't change it. Just have to go out there and fix it. Hey Charge Show, hey Jason, fancy that. Yeah, fancy seeing you here. It's almost as if you magically knew. Yeah, the ponytail, the hair's finally gotten to the point where it needs a tail. Had snow a few days ago. Now that is something I've yet to truly experience. I've had black ice and I've had sleet, but I've never really had the pleasure of proper snow, a decent layer of proper snow. Most of the time when it has snowed, it would always just be, it would just, turn to slush before it even hits the ground. Obviously not here in North Queensland, but when I was over in South Africa. Yeah, something like 10 minutes. Yeah, Travis, unfortunately, this is a new program I'm working on. Well, I'm not creating the program, I'm using a new program. It's called IMHEX or IMHEX, and it's actually a really nice program. It's not quite as fully featured as the more commonly used 101 for reverse engineering, but it's an open source product, doesn't cost anything, and it's a pretty good, it's pretty good already. We've done a few improvements to it. We've been talking to the developer, but yeah, I just sort of like I effed up a couple of things, and what can you do? Fun fact: Melbourne was covered in snow in 1849. Cool. Alright, so I reckon I've got corrosion. Looks like there's something in the Allsys power grid area. And there's something over here. They look like bug drops to me. It sounds cuter than what it really is. Charge show. No, I'm actually inland from Townsville a little bit. About 130 kilometres in a little town called Charters Towers. By the way, I did fix up my optics on here. There was a great big sludgy yeah, there we go. There's Allsys power grid. It's fire trucked. Allsys power grid needs to be sorted out. Oh, and the water thing tonight. I was raging. Just did a few things, and just as I sort of went F, and the water pipe in the kitchen just went burst. It was one of those flexi hoses that they use from the you have your copper pipe come in, your fixed pipe, and then you go flexi hose up to the taps or something like that, just to make it a bit easier to move things around. Yeah, so that ruptured spontaneously ruptured. Obviously, it spontaneously ruptured, and unfortunately, it was an old part of the plumbing, and I hadn't had a chance to put stopcocks on it or stop levers or anything. So I had to, first thing I just said to a leader, I said, go turn off all the cold water, turn on all the cold water taps that you can. And then I ran out to the mains out the front and turn that off. But tomorrow I'll have to go and get some stops for it, lever stops, and then fix up the rest as well. It's always fun when water bursts through in the house. Yeah, this definitely looks like bug damage. Okay, fortunately this one is not going to be an issue. It got hit in a place that doesn't matter. At least I hope it doesn't. The ultrasonic will sort that out. And for a change, we've actually got a decent one here, 1.88. This is a 165 board, of course. I'm just checking over other things, seeing if anything else jumps out at me, but this here will be the reason why it wasn't coming up, and the reason why it did come up when I plugged it in now. Because it's that bit of corrosion, and it just, the vibration of shipping makes it reconnect or fixes the issue momentarily. Now look at this. Oh, that's kind of gooey. That's kind of sort of like jelly, gooey, yuck. Maybe someone's been flicking unmentionables. I don't know what that is. That's cat hair, I think. See, our tank leaked into the kitchen. Oh, as in your rainwater tank that you have above the kitchen or something, did you? Yeah, Miles, that's pretty normal, you're right. It all sort of comes together. Let's see. Saw a Northbridge repairer selling grinding pens. As used tweezers. A grinding pen. Is that like fiberglass pen? Just a fine pitch fiberglass pen, or is it something else? Or are they using something like a metalworkers awl, marking awl, or something? A B-Dog? Yeah. Yeah, that feels more like the typical sort of sand that you get. But this one here, that's gooey. That's a gooey one. Ah, it's stuck on my ew. You gotta wonder what gets. It could be a piece of cake or something like that. There's our bug. Remains of the bug. Bit of a leg and not much else. Hot water tank. Ooh. Water pipe bursts are not fun. When I worked at the Coles head office, we had a water pipe burst above our department, 2 million worth of printing equipment. Ah, well, you got the week off. That's nice. There's an. Is it like a motorized engraver or something like that? Because you can get. I know with metalworking anyway, we get these pens and they do have a very good abrasive ability, but they're not fiberglass, but they do have different pitches to them. So maybe that's what it is. Because I can't imagine it's anything specifically designed for this sort of work. It'll be something that's been reappropriated from another field. Okay, well, no, we're all good. So, yeah, this is going to be the all-sys power good is the primary fault here. So we'll fix that up. Let's go have a look at this grinding pen. I'm fairly sure it will be a pre-existing product. You know, we do not really have grinding pens for trace repairs. Chip grind, cut holes 70. Oh, it is a spinning thing, right? Okay, all right. And they're all. Let's see, switch this over. Right, so it looks like they're all on 1/8 shank, I think. So they'll be. Yeah, out of. Okay, looks like I'm wrong. How about that, eh? I'm wrong. It looks like it is something designed, at least mostly, for what we're doing. Aluminium. Why would they? I can only imagine they're talking about the unit being aluminium. You wouldn't really want aluminium heads. So it pretty much is what normally you get an engraving type pen, and then they've changed it over for this sort of work, different bit tips. Yeah, I probably yeah, I think I'll stick to manual scraping. I think the big danger with this sort of powered work or powered device is excessively powering through your traces and things like that. Flux and boil, yep. Bought the same on an eBay for 23. Okay, at least the prices are 29 bucks. It's pretty cheap. But yeah, I can see it would have some uses, but I mean, for that, I've got my Dremel. Agreeably, it's probably an overkill. But certainly, when it comes to working on this sort of stuff, I do not want to have a. I don't want to have a powered device around here. It's just too easy to make a critical mistake, and fuck, there goes the resistor. Just like that. That was not intentional. But yeah, you get the point. Even with just your hands, you can run into strife. Yes, that's what we're told as young men anyway. Kind of reminds me, I was watching a video tonight from Growling Sidewinder. He does, what do you call it, flying simulator videos. And it's pretty funny sometimes when he's talking, because he's a fairly fairly competent, what do you call it, simulator pilot and stuff. And he's flying around in the Dora, the FW190, I think it's the D9, and he's getting to he's killed off quite a few, and you can see these P47s coming up for him because he's irritated them. And just as he's saying, oh yeah, I don't think they can pull lead, they're not going to be able to pull in, bam, he's dead. And he's like, well, yes they can. It's more funny when you're sort of really involved with it, and particularly on the back of a few other times he'd be playing down the danger of something, like he was trying to outrun a hypersonic missile, or at least notch it or something like that, and he says, oh, I should be okay, I'm just going to treat this as a normal AIM-9, and then bam, dead. It's all about the timing, and I'm not very good at telling stories. But yeah, the timing is just brilliant, and the time, yeah, when he gets caught out, these things. He's one of those type of players where if you get your backside handed to you by him, it's no great shame. Hey Byron, Amber, which logo are you talking about? You talking about Micro, the kitty cat one, or are you talking about my spinning PLD logo? That people go, why have you got 4 arms in it instead of 3? There's only 3 letters in your name, your initials. So, because it looks really bad when there's only 3. So we threw the 4th in there just for good measure. I had a 165 board, no solid state drive to tech, none of the usual areas, was a pesky resistor on the clock crystal. Oh. What was it? Just undercut under the pad, or was it something else had gone wrong with it? Ah, right, the spinning logo. Yeah, thanks for that, Andrew. Byron. I think I came up with that around about 20 plus years ago now. I used to use it all the time in 3D and everything. It's on all my old email content management system stuff. But yeah, I tried a lot of different variations, and like I said, I know technically the 3-arm version is more specifically correct, but it just doesn't look any good. And of course, you know, I stick it on the shirt logo. It doesn't show up too well on these ones because they're not light enough, but I can change colours. Alright, we need to get another one of those resistors since I unfortunately flicked that one off. It looks current. Well, that's good. Nice to know that and I don't think we'll be using that resistor. Nice to know it's maintaining relevance. Because it is understandable, you know, hey look, there's a spare leg there for me to reinstall on that other bug that's dead. You know, some logos don't age that well. Or maybe after 20 years you sort of think maybe it's time for a refresh. Hey GD Tech, just saw you there. By the way, I am back on the circular polarizer as well. That's what I was talking about when I was saying I fixed up all my optical issues. It was a bit of grime. The grime was on the Barlow, interestingly. Which kind of confounds me because I don't know how it got there after I put the circular. It might have, yeah. Who knows? Hey John Lockhart, how's it going? What about the free giveaway love? They're coming, I've got to do a proper video of it. But they are coming. Just unfortunately, like I said, a lot of things coming on. I've got to set up the email server and web page so that I can do the two-factor authentication. Well, not authentication really, but just the two-factor part so that people don't try and mass submit and things like that, or at least not too much. Looks like a cool tattoo on your forehead when you look in the microphone. Oh yes, of course. I forgot that it's on the corner of the stream because I don't see it on this side, of course, because I don't look at the output on the YouTube. Okay, I just had to fix that up. Kind of curious what that resistor is, which input that one's for. We'll have a look at the board view. Ah, it's been a while since I've had a 165. It's not even on my... Oh yeah, there it is. I was going to say... yeah, schematics... It's this one here. Alright, so yeah, no wonder it wasn't really working. Basically, this one feeds in the power that gets switched or daisy chained down or whatever you want to call it. So without that, nothing really is going to happen. So even if all of these are present, then they're doing nothing in effect. So you just sort of get nothing going to nothing, and this this Allsys power grid would be constantly just pulled down. HAW, and Jessica's here too. Hello, Jessica. Ah, Wayne Taylor's here. Yeah, it has been a while. Wayne, yeah, nice and rainy. I'm pretty happy with it. Getting the rain, we do need it. Of course, that means I'm going to be very busy with the mowing, but I'll do that after I've got the fence fixed up. At least I have an electric mower now, and I'm very happy with it. It is definitely a good product, and what I particularly like is the fact that I don't decide, okay, I'm going to go and do some mowing, and then go, I haven't got any petrol for the mower, or I haven't checked the oil in ages, or I've got to try and get this thing started. With the electric, it's just like I take the brick, put it in the mower, press the button, and away I go. And I get about 20 minutes worth of mowing out of that. And this is a 82 volt brick. It's a Briggs & Stratton system. It's the mower itself is a Victor mower, but yeah, Briggs & Stratton produced the powertrain for it. But yeah, it's really good. And then just pop it out, put it back on charge, and it's ready to go for the next time. And I've got 2 batteries, and it's convenient to the point where Elita, she's even happy to use it. She just goes out, uses it. Whereas with the old petrol one, I'll be like, nah, no chance. And I really like the fact that I don't drown in the fumes. You don't really realise the extent of the fumes until you've stopped using the petrol one, and then you encounter someone else using a petrol one, and you kind of go, wow, that's a lot of fumes coming out of mowers. Charge show, you've also got the 82 Victor stuff. Cool. What else have you got? I've got the whippersnipper, or weed whacker, whatever you want to call it, and the mower, of course. I am planning on getting the 21-inch mower as well, and some 4 amp hour packs. Hey, Kristen Iverson, yeah, proper Monday here for sure. Indeed, mate. Indeed. Alright, so that was just a bit of a clean-up I had to do there. There was a little bit of muck, and I didn't trust it. But I think at this point it's... Oh yeah, we better clean that up too. Yeah, I could put this in the ultrasonic, but chances are it won't properly clean it up. Blower, mower, and whippersnipper, 2 amp hour. Oh, okay, you got the blower as well. Was that the backpack one? I was thinking of getting the chainsaw, but to be honest, the 18-inch bar is just, it's ludicrous. I don't know why they went for an 18-inch bar on that chainsaw. I would have thought 14-inch, 13-inch would have been more suited to their intended market. And as a consequence, I don't think I will get the Victor mower. The Victor chainsaw. I'll probably get the Stihl one. That's about $550, $600 for that chainsaw combo. Because the Victor chainsaw for the 82 volt, I think, is about $300. And then I would have to get the bar changed down to a 14-inch or even a 12-inch bar is more than ample for what I do. And it just seems like a bit too much stuffing around. Oh, sorry folks, why didn't anyone yell out earlier? Yeah. But my yard probably takes about 5 or 6, you have to do about 5 or 6 sessions to mow it. It's an awkward place, there's a lot of little sections, there's a lot of interference, things that get in your way. So the 18-inch Victor does a very good job. The reason why I also want to get the 21-inch is that there is all the area outside of our fence line, basically the roadside effect. And I just want to be able to just like run up and down on that. The other option I can do is get a robot mower, but I think our land's a little bit too rough for that at this point. As Jason, I bought the handheld Vax pressure steamer and sometimes use it on boards for minor cooling. Oh yeah, cool. That actually is a good idea. Dad's Stihl electric gear is dreadful, too many faulty batteries. Wayne, that's actually not good at all. Do you know which ones that were? Because I was looking at their new releases. I haven't run into any battery issues yet, but yeah. No SMC reballs. Dadamras, the overlay is still the experimental phase. Like, yeah, I'm sort of trialing out things. The biggest problem is trying to get the board, the image of the board, to align with the board view. And there's, I don't know, I need to come up with a better system. I'm not sure what, because it just takes too long currently to take the, even with a flatbed scanner, and I did this with flatbed, it still requires a fair bit of meshing around, and like the alignments, okay, that's a bit out there. Well, we're a whole component out there. Settings, board preferences. Let's see. Offset. So like you line it up there, but then you go to the other end of the board and it's out of alignment there, so you go, okay, fine, yeah, and you change the scale, and it's difficult. I need to come up with a fast way of just having a few key fiducial points or something like that and having it distort the image to suit. But anyway, it's experimental at this point. Should get some sheep. Yeah, I've got cats, that's enough. What's the most efficient way to fit a fan into the battery of the Victor stuff, reducing 82 foot down to 12? Yeah, 82 down to 12. That is hard, actually. 36 to 12 isn't a big problem because you can do that in a single step with the MOSFET. But 82 down to 12, you've got to kind of change things around a little bit. I would go looking for just simply those pre-made modules, pre-made DC to DC modules. They cost like what, $7, and they'll take up to, I don't know, 100 volts input and drop you down to 12. The downres, I've been trying a few different techniques, but it's always, it's tricky, and I get frustrated and I need to do it in a more efficient way. I think that's the problem. I don't like how long it takes for each one. Anyway, this is basically done, other than the fact that I haven't checked the top side of the board at all, and therefore it could be something great big ugly snot blob on here that I'm not aware of. There's certainly a lot of gnarly little bits and pieces. It's going to love going through the ultrasonic, this one. Plenty of bugs on there. The ultrasonic's going to do this thing real good. Yep, that's good to go. Travis will be DC. Yeah. The main problem is that most MOSFETs at those sort of current levels, they're not really designed for, their gate source limiters usually around about 30 to 40 volts, maybe even 60 volts. But getting up to, well, you'll probably want 90 volts to 100 volt gate source tolerance. And you're just not going to find that too easily, so like I said, usually if you can try and find a module that does it, they're out there. I just realised I didn't even bother to check to see whether they're still built steel boots. I'll do that just now, even though I've taken the heat sink off. It'll be okay. Famous words, Paul. Famous words. She'll be right, mate. Right up until when she's not. Hey Ed, how's it going, boss? Current rate's perfect. Just wait for some green blinking. Come on, blink. Blink, you dirty thing. Yep, there we go. I always start to panic just before it blinks. It's don't ask me why. You'd think I'd know better, but nope. What job were you? 1037. There we go. Nice UV pen. I'll stick the... Yeah, it might get done by this evening. And get that back out the door tonight. Alright, that's job one out of the way. See what other tragedies I've got. What have I got here? Ah, crikey. You're an A1490, aren't you? Yeah, an A1490. I think I might save that for when I actually have some strength left in my soul. 1932, that's liquid damage. It's almost as bad. Okay, I'll have to do this one off camera slightly, as in I have to disassemble it off camera. Just to get the bottom panel off, that's all. So, deal with my face instead. Don't sweet mercy me. It's sad that you get remembered for the things that you feel really are not who you are. And the whole sweet mercy thing is not who I am. But like I said, you don't get to choose your nickname or anything like that. You don't get to choose what you're remembered for, either. Jason, that is still in the box, and I will probably actually do that more as a recorded video. I don't even have the gear I want to use on hand for that, at least not in this room. Okay. Come on, come on. Wish I got some more M1s turning up, but no such luck today. The reason why I want more M1s turning up is because I spent all that money on the donor board, used one chip, and, well, could do with more than one chip used. $1932, easy to, yeah, right. Hey, Colonel Panic. Okay, let's go to the overhead. So this is liquid damage. Oh yeah, crikey, you crikey. Yep, it's liquid damage. Now I believe this is mostly just wanting data recovery at this point. I'm just gonna have a double check on that. So damage is done, blah blah blah. Unable to recover data. There is no telling what else is damaged. It could also have damaged keyboard, trackpad. Oh yeah, that's a highly likely. But we'll see. Hey Lonnie Gullen, good evening. Alright, let's see what we're getting for current and voltage. It's a pretty good splatter job all through. I can see the, oh wow, daughter board's completely trucked. Regulation section seems okay. Anyway, we'll plug in the 5 volts, 20 volts, 3, okay, this thing's actually probably booting. That's kind of scary that it's booting, we don't want that. At least not right now. We want to get it clean first, then we'll let it boot. TX4. Okay, the battery's disconnected. Batteries for these things are a real major pain. Trying to get a decent supply is difficult. To be fair, getting a decent supply of most MacBook batteries is pretty difficult. This thing's got spots and shorts all over the place on it. So definitely would not want to fire it up for too long without getting it cleaned up first. It'd be just your luck. It comes up, you start getting the data off where you take a little bit too long, and then it goes, nah, give up, I'm out of here, and you never see it again. Oh, Miles, it's too tempting to have a nice cup of coffee or a milkshake while you're working on your gender studies dissertation. You know, I shouldn't mock things like that. I'm sure it has genuine purposes that I'm not aware of. Okay, we've got corrosion on the flex there, funnily enough in a different location to where the burn marks are. I don't mind the 1932. I know a lot of people mock it because of the cooling design. I personally don't, because I understand how it does work. Even if it doesn't seem directly with the lid off, obviously it does not work. But when the lid's down, it does work. But other than that, yeah, it's a fairly simple, light, easy board. This one just seems to be a little bit troublesome coming out. There we go. Hey David, 3008. CTPC started because I was looking for a short domain name, and CT for Charters Towers, PC repairs. But, you know, that was in the days of vanity domains. I don't have a storefront because I just don't need it. Okay, we've got, yeah, this thing really does just need to be flux and boiled. I do have people turning up to the front gate, the locals, you know, if they want their phones fixed and things like that. Oh, wow. If this thing really does boot, I am going to be genuinely amazed. I mean, that is a pretty bad corrosion cluster. And they, of course, are all part of our CPU section. They're probably mode selectors. Okay, I'm talking out of my backside there. I don't really know for sure. I'm going to find out. Had one the other day full of white, slightly yellow powder. Ew. It's going to be got some sort of soft bicarb. What? Oh, wow. Damn. Okay, you got the crazies. I don't get that. If I get anything around here, it's going to be meth. Cocaine's a little rich for this town. But meth is everywhere around here. Okay, what board have I got here? 1521, is it? Or is it under the damn heatsink? I'm glad they didn't do any extra work on this. I think they've come to realize that I do a better job if they haven't had a shot at it themselves. Hey, Ron Rogers from Missouri. 40 Fahrenheit. Wow, it's just over freezing, isn't it? 32 is 0. Yep. Yep, 1521. So, Rockefeller, need to change EST7. Yeah, I've got no idea. I don't even know what that chip is. Sorry, I'm not really competent of a lot of that stuff. Or, in fact, let's be honest, with any of that stuff. Alright, so this is the bank of resistors here. I'm just kind of curious as to what their purposes are. Video alert. Okay, looks like I was wrong. They're not selectors. Pull up for power good. Is there a commonality amongst them? Alright, no, they're very much needed functionality items. Now, hopefully, none of them are too damaged in the sense of none of them require replacement, even though they look pretty damn bad. because it's quite hard to get them off from that area. Noosacat, no, they were not, thankfully. They were just chucking a fit because, well, the cats. Are you bent twig or are you... Oh, you're not bent twig, thank goodness. Yeah, I'm sure Northridge will sell quite a few of those motorized assistant tools. Hey, Tony Nash. Yeah, having fun. I really was hoping to get the posts in on the fence though. The hardest thing for me to do around this place is actually get started on stuff. Once I get started on things, like most people, once I get started on something, then, you know, I can usually finish it up. But when you start getting interruptions like the heavens opening up and dropping down a month of rain in one shot, things like that, then you worry about losing your momentum, and you don't want to lose your momentum. Because honestly, at this point in my life, just getting the energy to start something, like hanging a door, painting something, fixing, you know, so that's the hard part. Doing it isn't so much the hard part. Getting myself to the point where I will willingly start it, that is the very difficult part. And then trying to avoid all the things, or try and ignore all the things that try to stop you. Like, oh, I've left the tape measure at the other end of the house. Oh, my hammer's in the wrong room. Oh, I can't find this tool that I need. Yeah, stuff like that. And you spend 3 hours running around trying to get this job that should have taken 15 minutes, and it just pisses you off. And in the end, you're just like, fine, that's it. You can just stay there and rot until the house falls down for all I care. It's not a good attitude. Okay, we've got problems. We've got to get this, whatever this is, we've got to get it off because we've got corrosion going underneath it. The EST750 is a 16-pin IC power supply supervisor with pulse width modulation controller. No, still draw a blank there. I mean, it's really not my area. I'm not even sure I should be anywhere near mains rated stuff or that switch moding stuff. I consider myself to be sufficiently incompetent. I think I watched the Big Clive thing the other day about electric shock and electrocution, things like that. And I was thinking, yeah, I'm probably going to be a sucker for that. I'll probably be sitting there holding the switchbox door open and then, yep, doing everything wrong. Okay, I do not understand what this is. I don't know if it's solid or a shield. I think it's just a... Okay, it's a sheet metal folded thing. And I'm not really willing to actually lift that up, I don't think. I have a horrible feeling if I lift that up, I'm going to cause more damage than what maybe the ultrasonic can fix. But at least we've got access to this area. bit like having kids. Whenever you need a tool for the job, you have to hunt for it first. Yeah, well, it's just there's so much time wasted on hunting for stuff. Hell, you've seen my videos. I have a hard enough time with this workshop, and the stuff doesn't even leave the workshop in most cases. Looks like a bus bar. It does look like a bus bar, but it's not. But I completely understand what you're saying. But no, it's if I was to, I'm just going to look at the board view. According to the board view, there's nothing under there. It's kind of weird. Yeah, Travis, it's very easy to lose tools like that. Like whenever I do fencing, I almost always lose at least one tool like that. I found a hammer that I lost about 4 years after I put it down. And it was right there, just right there. You go blind and you don't see where you put these things. Okay, I'm heating this up a fair bit because I'm going to try and resolder those pads. Don't have the greatest of hopes. I'm kind of worried I'm going to truck it up. And I've now lost my solder. Hey DJ, how's it going? Okay, let's not truck it up too much. You've got to be careful you don't... Yeah, I see, like, here we go. That one there is lifting. So that's how you test if these things are corroded too far. You do this sort of resolder the pads and see what lifts. But you got to be careful because you can end up eating some of the resistors unintentionally. There is a lot of blood coming out. I do not like that, because that means there's going to be a fair bit of rework, and this is not a good area to be having to do rework on. I may have to clean wipe the whole area, and that's 9 resistors I have to replace. Not sure I'm up to that kind of insanity. But look, I'll be honest and say that it is sufficiently damaged that I really should be doing that. You know, I shouldn't just try and bodge it or hope for the best. I'm gonna have to pretty much clear them out. You're definitely gone. Sometimes you just got to take that plunge, even though you don't want to, and hope and pray that you actually can get it back to how it was. And make sure you don't lift any pads. There's some nastiness going on down there. Now I remind you, this is all under the CPU. Hey, 10 minute. Use some hot air wicking to clear up my area so I can see what I'm dealing with better. Some people have a good ability to be able to work on areas that are not cleaned up. I know Lewis is actually very good at that. But I am not quite up to that level, or at least I don't work well doing that. I prefer to clear back things as much as I can. How much it rained? Well, we got about 40 today, and it was solid high gravity rain. Like, I got out of the car and nearly got floored because of it. Hey Promo, good evening. Just want to say T2 MacBooks are shaking my whole confidence in board prep. Yeah, Promo, welcome to the club. Which ones have you been working on? The 1700s are probably the worst for it all. 1700s you'll get fixed up, it'll seem like it's booting and then nothing comes up. And everything should be running, but it's not. It's just a sad, sad way to go. But yeah, look, we're right there with you. They're definitely confidence shakers, I agree. The M1s are, I'll be very happy to see pretty much the end of the T2 related boards. Especially with burn flux around. Yeah, exactly. It's really quite, it's very difficult. Tight areas give you anxiety. Well, I suppose that's applicable in some areas in life. The other thing I've got to be careful of is not to lift a pad. Because this is underneath the CPU, it's going to be very easy for solder to, yeah, it may go down onto the pad, but then very quickly it will go solid again. And if you're not on your game, you can end up accidentally lifting pads like, yeah, Mr. Daniels, what have you done? Okay. I'm sort of relying on the fact that there's such a large thermal mass that I'll get away with that. Okay, I just realised there's a couple of pads up here that I didn't quite look at. That one there, that one there. Okay, they're good. Alright, I think we're good there. We'll give that a bit of a brush, clear it away again so I can see what I'm doing once more. Certainly that's, yeah, the soldering on that's fine. I can, hot air the resistors back down. That there is not a pad, that's just a corner. Because we've got our 5 here and then 4 here. Yeah, Jason, hot air wicking, what's this? Hot air, which is better, hot air wicking or macro pencil? I'd definitely go for hot air wicking. Depends on what you're comfortable with. I know some people are more than happy to go in hot and heavy with a large tip and use it on the wick directly. I can't do that. Maybe I don't have the feel in the fingertips or something, I'm not sure, but I will not risk doing that. Video upload on solder and wicking technique. I often think about that, but I always think, well, there's a million others out there. Oh, great, we've got, damn it. Very first one out the gate, and it's a 49.9. Couldn't be 50. Agreeably, under a 1%, 50 ohm would be actually fine, although usually you don't get a 50 ohm resistor, you get a 51, and then you get this 49.9. Why they chose such a specific value like that? Why not 59? Why not 51? Why not 47? 47 is usually the other step. Tony, the board view says nothing under that shield. See, this is the shield area here. It says nothing at all. 49.9. Ugh. Let's see if we can find a 0 ohm resistor. Just start with some zeros. There we go. We've got a 0. Go get some. These are 201s. Naturally. Yeah, I might actually have a 49.9 and 201. just the sort of madness I would embrace. Hey Horst, Tora. Yeah, Miles, I think it comes down to just style and technique. I can understand why, for some people, hot air wicking could actually be more dangerous, because they might try to pull the wick away when the hot air is not there, subsequently rip the pad clean off. So yeah, I think it is definitely a personal choice technique method. Yeah, we've got 0 ohms, of course. So one of the first things I buy in any given size. And we've got more 0 ohm. How many 0 ohms have I got? Clearly I didn't tell myself about that. We've got 47 ohm, which is not 49.9. 47k, 220, 39, 470, 12k, 330. I very much doubt I'll have, at the best I might have 50. But even that I doubt. I'm just going to leave 10k and 100k out. They're common values for these sort of pull-ups. 4k 7, 3k 3, no, that's okay. Alright, we're going to have to do a board search to find ourselves a 201 49.9. If we're lucky, we can get them. If we're not, we won't. And the nice thing is I've ripped them all off the other one, so it's like, well, not getting those back. They're gone. Gone, gone, gone. Hey Rilla, good to see you. It is quite possible the fonts have changed, yes. Okay. Hey Patrick, Millie. Oh, you're from New York. Surprised you're watching an Australian. Shouldn't you be supporting your fellow New York board repair people? Alright, so we want 49.9 ohms, and we want it to be a 201. That's pretty much all I'm going to need to search for, in all honesty. 49.9 in itself. Whoa, okay, maybe I spoke too soon. 165. What do you know? They're everywhere. Okay. Huh. Well, maybe it's a common value for the CPU type area, because that's the CPU area. So what are you for? It's exactly the same resistor. This is again for CPU config R compensation. So it seems like that value is explicitly used for, and there it is there, which no one can see. Nope, nope, try the other one, Paul. There we go. Yeah, there's our 49.9. Well, call me shocked. Yeah, 49.9, 1%, 1/20th of a watt, metal film, 201. I really do love that part find facility. If you don't have a board for every single machine that you repair as a donor, then the part find facility is an absolute godsend. That's that top one. I'm not going to bother putting it all the way down. It's a lot of heat to be putting in, and the CPU's on the other side, so I'll wait till I've tacked down all the others, and then when they're all tacked down, we'll do a proper reflow in one hit. Hey Arnold G. Hot tweezers don't tend to be that useful for a lot of the work we do, mostly because either they're too big, as in you can't really get around the parts, or if they are fine enough, you don't get enough heat in there. So they do have some uses, but in most cases they're not quite as, like you said, they're not quite as valuable as what you initially think they're going to be. Or useful, I should say. They're not quite as useful as what you think they're going to be. Handy, yes. If you get some good quality ones, and say you're trying to pull a cap out from next to the CPU on an iPhone, definitely can be very useful. But most of the time, there's usually a way around. Okay, we've got a 0. I have a feeling I'm going to have a few zeros in this one. Arnold G, I've got a RX 480 card. I need to find a donor of schematics to fix missing items scraped off. Ah. I am working on, damn it, I am working on some more board view formats. Like, so I'm trying to do this T-bow view format. It's hard work, but I mean, I've been going for a couple of weeks now, and I am making progress, but it is amazingly fickle. But it will get there, we'll get there. Is it worth buying tweezers? Probably not. But don't ask. Yeah, it's just, in the end, it comes down to the individual. Let's see. Oh well, they've got different values everywhere on this. So 220 is the next one. Seriously, 220? And I need to make a robot that will just deliver the values I want. I know they already exist, so no point trying to point me to them. I do know they exist. When I used to do my manufacturing, I was seriously looking into a lot of that stuff. What I find works easier for me is to segregate the components into, usually they're decade values, like 0 to 100 ohms, 100 to 1k, 1k to 10k, yeah, that sort of system. And at least you can fairly quickly dive down to the area of, the box that you need. Arnold G, yeah, it is very much like Rosetta Stone work. Like with the T-bow format, I was lucky I had some people send me some board view files, or they're design files. They're not actually board view files, they're design files, so from that file you can manufacture the board. But they sent me a couple of boards that were only about 70k in size, so it was a manageable sort of amount of data. And then I had the viewer for it, for the T-bow view. And fortunately, in the viewer, it had a query facility, so you could actually query on the part or the pad or the trace, and it would give me just enough information that I was able to start making connections. And the header contains encrypted things like passwords, username, stuff like that. Unfortunately, they made a slight stuff up in their design with the viewer that they give out for free, and you actually have the ability to be able to see what the decoded version of a particular string is, in this case the licensee. And so you can put any string you like in there, including the ones that were from like the password or anything else, and it would show you the decoded version. And from that, you can then work out, oh yeah, oh Momo, what are you doing? You can put it on the ground. Oh, thanks. You don't know. Sorry? Oh yeah. Oh no. Say hello to people. Huh? What you doing? Oh, he's in a mood. Oh, what's the matter, buddy? Hmm? You're not happy. You're not happy because I'm working. Yeah. Come on. There you go. So yeah, with the password thing, so what you can do, well, it was a bit of a thing to see what happens. If you put in all the same character as the encoded character, for some encryption systems, it will actually start giving you the key or an indication of what method they're using. And it turns out they're using a Vinaya cipher, slightly modified, but it was still the same thing. And from that, we were able to write the decryptor, and so secrets were no more. Oh yeah, fan noise. Yeah. Oops. Let's see. Sorry, I'll just go. 810's that. 812. Okay, so the next one's 0. It's hard to get a lot of work done around here because the little rat bags are constantly getting in the way. And then when you do finally try to go to sleep, that's when they decide, no, don't want you sleeping now. We're bored. Wake up, everybody. Okay, that one's down. Whoa, okay. This bottom 60.4. Really? I can only hope that 60.4 exists again like that 49.9. Oh, stop. Yep, looks like it's... Mind you, that's all on the modern boards, it's not yet on the older boards. Okay, I do have a 239, so that's fine. Mind you, it's probably going to be one of the resistors that I've knocked off for some reason. It's on 3330, huh. 244, that's the A1534 board, so I may have one of those. I can never remember whether I got 244s or 0045s. And that's it, that's our selection. We'll have a look at the 3332 because I definitely got those. Oh wow, they've actually got two of them. Okay. That's interesting. Alright. Once again, it pays off having that board, that part search facility. Son of a guns, I've wiped out that entire section. The resistor we were looking for was right there. I think I've got more 332s. I'm starting to get a moderately high failure rate of those. Okay, well, we don't have the inductor there, but we do have that resistor, thankfully. So we'll just do our best not to lose that one, because... Here I was thinking most of these would all be the same. So much for that. Not perfect, but it's a start. Just might puff up the pads that are in the middle there for the new resistors that have yet to come down. The main reason being is because once they are down, I'm not going to be able to really easily get solder in between there. So better that I puff them up now. I can always take solder away easy. How often do you guys spend time to find a part only have to blow out the disc? Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. Too many times. You just hope it doesn't happen on live stream. Okay. So let's see. Naturally it's the one value I don't have out. Okay. So the top of the next column is 1K. There we go, 1K. Doesn't help when you've got an over-eager exhaust system either. Extractor system rather, not an exhaust system. Ah, what go? And I have no idea where that resistor went. That one there at least I can see. I don't know where the other one went. What's this? I have 1,000... What? Where's my 1K? Oh, right, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I was thinking... Yeah, I was thinking that I was mysteriously rich. .56 ohms is the next one. That actually is a standard value, but I can tell you now, it's not one that I would normally have. No good for nothing 56ing. Yeah, it's another one near the CPU. So it seems like they have basically just keep using very similar values for the CPU the whole way through. Okay, so it's this one here. It'd be funny if all of these are similar to what we're trying to copy over. That is not down properly, I'm not trying to. Ever put in a component tell you wrong value? Yes, usually a decade out or so. Like I'll put in a 56 ohm rather than a 56k, something like that. Genuinely dumb stuff. Okay, next one is 100 ohms. Now these values are just all over the damn place. It's definitely not what I was hoping for. Was it too much to ask for them all to be 10k? Apparently so. What's the bet I don't even have 100 ohms? Oh, you're not going to believe it. I had 56s. Classic. What's the bet now I don't have 100? I didn't think I'd have 56. That'll teach me for not writing an inventory system and then being pedantic enough to actually keep that inventory system correctly updated. Creating it's easy. Keeping it updated, that's hard. $100 ohms. Put a backlight chip on wrong. Oh, that, yeah. Putting chips on with the wrong orientation, I've done that. I'm trying to think what I did it with. I think I did it with the RTC clock chip once. Thankfully no damage. Not because you can probably get away with that, but just simply it was probably freakish luck of the draw that the one orientation that I happened to put it in was one that didn't kill it. Oh, how did I end up with 3 there? Oh, great. You want 1, you get 3. That's funny. You know what I should do is check to see that 4th one, see that it's not 100 ohms. No such luck, it's a 1k. Damn it. So these 2 basically go into the bin, I'm afraid. You really cannot, well, I shouldn't say you cannot, do not do things like try to be cost efficient and go, I'll just put those 200 ohm resistors back into the strip. It's really not worth doing it in this sort of scenario, and you have a far greater risk of accidentally putting back, like maybe it was that resistor from the previous one that I lost, I think it was a 0 ohm or something like that. There's a far greater chance you're going to accidentally pick that one up, put it back into the strip, and then later on when you think that you've pulled out a value, it's something different, and that's going to be a whole lot of insanity, pulling your hair out, trying to debug what the hell is going on. So yeah, just toss them in the bin. If they fall out, toss them. A little different if it's one of the bigger things where you can actually see the value on it. But for these things with no... Oh, for frick's sake, man, where did that go? Alright. There we go. I've got resistors raining everywhere. Thank goodness I'm going through the ultrasonic cleaner later. Alright, so now that we've got everything down, we can flux it up and get everything to sit down. So they all jump down nicely now. Much better. Miles bought a bunch of ISL 65.9s and thinking they were all good. It's a shame when that happens, really it is, yeah. Don't you have one of those testers you can place? The thing is, it's just not worth it. I mean, those resistors are 0.1 of a cent each. And I've got, you know, over 100 in that little strip. It's just, there's no point in it. I mean, yeah, I can just measure it if I want, but I've got to hold it and everything like that. It's easy for me to just let it go. It wanted to be free. It didn't want to spend its life resisting. I granted it its freedom. Alright, so that cluster is fixed up. Steve K, is it left and right hand synchronization is required when holding the iron on the left and the hot end on the right? I think, yeah, practice you sort of get there. I am left-handed by default, but I'll hold tweezers in either hand fine. Okay, so we've got a bunch more just sort of wash, flux and boils. I know some people have different setups, left and right wise. I think part of being a left-handed person is you inherently become somewhat ambidextrous, just simply because, you know, the world forces it on you. There's some corrosion there too. This corrosion doesn't bother me so much. I mean, yeah, it's not the prettiest, but it's just superficial stuff on the top. Under the speaker chip though, that is going to be a problem. Yeah, that's gotten under that speaker chip. We're going to have to lift that and have a look. Yeah, there's grime and gunk all under that. You can see it all along the edge here, there. So I'll replace that chip. It probably would have been fine after ultrasonic, but the trouble with the speaker chips is that they frequently are connected to some hefty rails. It wouldn't be the first time I've had them take out a system. Get close there, buddy. Come on up. That's it. The wick's a little wide. Not the best wicking at all. And that was bonded down some sort of polyurethane. Not anymore. Look at all this. This is... Amazingly, it really doesn't look like it's... Okay, that one there is struck, but... this here is probably a bit of a problem. Any tips for steady hands? Yes, stop trying to have steady hands is pretty much the best advice I can give. Just accept that you're not going to have perfectly steady hands, and just do tricks like, resting your... You find ways to steady them. If I had to freehand this, I would be all over the show. It is actually also much easier once you're under the microscope. The feedback loop between the eyes and the hands does improve. Okay, basically I'm just doing a complete wholesale flux and boil here. But yeah, I do find if you try to get that whole perfect steady hand thing, it actually makes it worse. Yeah, that whole expectation thing, and then you start getting more and more anxious about it. But yeah, you certainly do end up finding techniques to try and reduce it to a level that it's manageable. Lots of whiskey, but not too much whiskey, yeah. I do drink a fair bit of coffee, probably 3 cups a day, 3 small cups a day, like little cafe half cups. That's about my limit. Sleep is another thing, and I do terribly with sleep. And I would say the bigger factor tends to be your anxiety about the job. Like, I can tear down an iPhone 11, no problem, whatever. But as soon as for some reason I know it's an important job or something, then I get the shakes and the sweats. So now a lot of it also comes down to, wow, that's a really nasty job there. Yeah, more trash there. What does make you shake? Is it anxiety? Is it neurological? For me, anxiety is a big factor. If you're wondering what I'm using to clean this up that makes it seem to clean up so nicely, this is the 80-20 mix. When it comes to corrosion, 80-20 does a delightful job of clearing it away. Obviously it doesn't fix any damaged areas, but it does do an excellent job of clearing away that junk. I find that if you go in with the flux, if you just start pouring flux over the corrosion and you flux and boil it, I don't like the outcome of it. Whereas, so long as I've recorded the corrosion in the camera, I then go along with the 80-20, wash it away, and then flux and boil it. Obviously if it's really bad corrosion, you're going to go in and inspect it before you wash it away. But for these sort of things, it's primarily a wash job. Like that diode down there, still got a bit of junk on there, so that there I'll flux and boil. a lot of the time when you're watching videos and people give you certain hard, fast rules, most of the time it's to stop you doing dumb things until you get to the point where you realise that there are it's contextual. So there may be scenarios where you don't have to stick with that rule, but the original hard and fast rule is there to protect you until you get to that point. Tony Nash, you go through 10. Wow, there is no way I could. Tom George, I got a monogrammed coffee cup mug the other day. 450 millilitres of coffee, 3 pods worth. Do not use it after midday. Yeah. For me, the little 225 milliliter. That's my thing. 225, 3 or 4 of those a day, and that's it. I think the worst thing is when you watch movies or something and they're walking around starting their day looking all happy, they got their cup of coffee, and you're like, damn it, I want some coffee, and it's 3 o'clock in the morning. And you're like, I really shouldn't have coffee. But it's very tempting. Okay, PMix got some interesting activity around it that does concern me. I have reballed these. They're not that bad. They're basically just like a little iPhone CPU. But you really try not to do it if you can avoid it. By the way, if anyone is watching this and has decided, hey, maybe I'll just wash the boards with 80/20 before I send them to Paul, please don't do that. If you're going to send them to me, please don't wash them. Please don't do anything. Just send them. Certainly, try things, measure things, whatever. But as soon as you start working on the boards, it does make it quite a bit harder. I mean, unless you send it to me with the knowledge that, okay, Paul knows I've already messed around with this and it's not a serious sort of job, as it were. Yeah, like if someone out there already does board repair work and they've had a few shots at it and they're like, no, you know what, I can't work this one out and I'm just going to send it to someone else to see if they can have any luck, and that's fine, I get that. But if board repair isn't your main thing and you're just dicking around with it, then it'd probably be better if you send it before you stick it in too far. It means, Pedro, yeah. Pedro, Mr. I Scam You. The master of the A1534 scam. I'm sure he's a nice person. He does love cats, so I'm willing to give him that. But if he sold me a MacBook, I would be very cautious. Just kidding. He's a nice bloke. He plays the ruffian role quite well, so I let him play that. Someone's got to play the bad guy. Just being careful not to melt anything here. We are close to the connectors. Okay, Jason, take care. Is your wife has short pajama shorts on? Well, I don't need to hear anything more. I think you should go and deal with that situation like the husband you should be. Oh, and there's our board number 1521. Don't know why I always forget to check the... Clearly I do. Okay, we've got damage there, damage here. Yeah, I'm just trying to there was corrosion under there, so I'm just trying to clear underneath there. I can see corrosion in here. Shouldn't use my tweezers on it while it's getting hot. This plastic is very impressionable when it's hot. You can tell it almost anything and it will believe you. Yeah, Tom, taking lots of pictures is always good. Even in the older days, like the 90s and 80s, I remember, oh wow, that's warm. Use up quite a few rolls of film before diving into tearing down a car engine. The only job was, it seemed no matter how many pictures you did take, you almost never had a picture of that section that you can't work out. Very frustrating. Okay, the damage on this connector is actually quite severe. I'm just not sure yet about replacing it. I need to find out whether data is the key, or whether they can do, whether they want it just data or whether they want the whole thing. Because if they don't really care about the machine itself, then I can probably get away with leaving that, because this just goes off to the audio board, the daughter board. Just a little bit dubious. I kind of think I'll look at it after the ultrasonic. That resistor there needs a bit of help. Yeah, Miles, true about that too. Yeah, put everything on YouTube and use it for your own reference later. Scrape inside contact. Yeah, there's not much room in there for that, to be honest. There's a very aggressive gapping or lack of space on that particular one. I'm having a hard time getting down to this resistor here. Oh yeah. If you go left and right, then you're just gonna, you know that anyway. You know you're gonna snare at least one of the pins and completely jack up everything. Alright, but let's see if we... I should actually take that display connector off and have a look under there too. I mean, it needs to come off anyway for the ultrasonic. Speaking of which, yeah, we're up to temperature on the ultrasonic. You're not going to be listening to it, but at least when I finish this stream, I will be listening to it. Considering it is almost 1 o'clock in the morning. But the nice thing is it's a 22 litre ultrasonic container, and I've got a 45 litre drying oven. I can very easily fit both the boards in for tonight. And that looks good. Oh, there you go, see? This is where you gotta take that. Look at that. That's genuinely dodgy. It is getting quite difficult, Miles, yes. Not a lot of gap there. Even my Grim Reaper blade has a hard time now. What's that, Michael? How I say data? What do you say it is? Data? I suppose, data, tomato. Is that what we're dealing with here? I don't like the look of these chaps. They were sneaky and they looked dodgy to me. DAF, in fact. Yeah, they're a bunch of DAFs, in my opinion. Let's see if we can reform them. If I can get solder on the caps, and then I can reheat it, and they might come good. Yeah, not liking that one. These two surprisingly actually came up alright. I know there's big clusters of solder there, but that's okay. I'm telling you it's okay, you just gotta trust me. Never heard it called data before. Okay. Oh well. I blame Star Trek. They made everybody believe it should be called data. Yeah, hopefully I don't melt the display connector. So I'm basically giving up on these two up the top for certain. The three down here, maybe not so bad. Come on, man. Data Vada. Data Veda. Data Veda. Sounds all very wrong now. Oh, Data Veda. Sounds like it should belong in Futurama. Like the Omicronian virus from Persei 8. Da-ta-ta. I can't say it like that. Hey, I am 6 kills, by the way. I wonder if Jason Vilma's listening in on this. I found out that he basically is a bit of a lurker. Apparently, he has a bad habit of just listening in without participating. Yeah, it's, what is that, kind of like board repair voyeurism? Seems a little sick and wrong. Be careful, that display connector's just starting to get a little bit of polish there, and I don't like that. It'll be okay, but it's sort of a bit of a warning to myself to be careful. Okay, so yeah, those three caps came up fine. Yeah, 6 kills, but the thing is, you know, Jason makes a really big habit of it. He waits for the opportune moment to then jump in. Let's see, okay, so let's see, we've got 8501, which is a pathetic, oh, it's 100 volts. Crikey, that's some high voltage. And that's also 100 volt. Oh, great. Alright. Just had to go and be different. That far right cap pad needs some scraping solder to grab. Far right. No, that one's okay. It's just the reason why it hasn't got a lot of solder on it is because it's the ground plane. So like this here, and it just needs a lot more heat to get it to flow on. But it's got a couple of little dobs of solder on it, so when we do the reflow with the hot air, it will be fine. Okay, 1000 picofarad, 100 volts, 402. That is a cap I'm definitely going to have to find. Yeah, 1000 puffers, 402. Yeah, 100. No, what? Yeah, 100 volts, 402. That is not a cap I usually see around. Clearly, the schematics also don't see it around a lot. Pinch a part off an iPhone, he'll chime in, yeah. I'll tell him I'm repairing an iPhone 13. Oh, 4924's got it. Probably part of its backlight circuit, I would say. Have a spul chucker. Let's see what the 4924, if it's real or whether it's a lie. It's a lie. Is it? Oh, son of a gun. Okay, they do have 1000 picofarad, 100 volts, but it's a 603 part. I could actually get away. You can sit a 603 on a 402 pad set, but I'm a little bit worried about that. We'll go back and keep searching. How can you 100 volt and 402? Talent. That's why you don't see it around much. That's the problem. When you think about it, 1000 picofarads, 402, that's 1 millimeter, so it's just borderline. Maybe if they coat it with something. Fire truck. A 1958 or a 1520. Oh man. No, the substring, it is substring as in it will match. This here will match anywhere within another string. So it will match with 0402. As opposed to these two, which are left aligned. And the other choice I can have is I can have strict. So it's the same number of characters and the same characters. Left aligned has to obviously be left aligned, and substring meaning it'll fit anywhere in the string. Dun, dun, dun. Well, what about that other one? What was the other one we wanted? 12 picofarad, 100 volts. And that's a 201. A bird boat. Should add tooltips to those. How do you mean? 4924, one of the caps is 402. Okay, I'll have another search. Maybe I missed it. So it looks like the 4924 might have the 12 picofarad 100 volt. I think it was that second one. No. See, it's picking up that because I set my radius too wide. So basically what we're seeing is on the older boards, they do have the 100 volt ceramics, but the trouble is that because the technology for the MLC caps wasn't as advanced as it is now, they weren't able to offer the 100 volt in at that capacity, at that size, at that time. Whereas now, clearly they have got the ability. So like we do have the same combination, the 12 picofarad and 1000 picofarad, but the thing is they're all a step up in terms of size. So you've got a 402 603 rather than 201 402. And this is what I'm talking about when it comes to the quality of the parts or the expensive parts on Apple devices, is that they push the limits quite hard. for getting the smallest parts at the highest capacities, which is funny considering that there's ample space on this board. They could easily have stuck with the 201-402 combination, sorry, the 402-603 combination that they used to have. 201 100 volts, not if you insulate it appropriately. I mean, what is it, 100 volts per millimeter in air? So if they've got it insulated, then it should be okay. And it's in the picofarad range, so it's not a major issue. So I might have to leave those off. What I can do is, let's see. Well, I can put the 12 picofarad on. What I might try is see if they've got a 1 nanofarad. I don't think Apple will do this. I don't think they'll use nanofarads, but 1 nanofarad, 100 volts, 402. I very much doubt they'll have this. Ah, I see Otoria is saying the same thing. Yeah, the problem is I don't think Apple uses nanofarad notation. I think they either use picofarad or microfarad, and that's it. Or do they? Oh no, they do they have? Now I've got to go look. Pico. No, point. I see. Normally I would write say 100 nanofarad instead of 0.1, and then I'm fairly sure I usually see him put 0.01 microfarad. 1 microfarad. Yeah, they seem to be either picofarad or microfarad. Yeah, no hits. No. I'm not surprised. It just seems to be their standards. Yeah, I might have to buy some. Well, technically speaking, I can leave that for the moment. It is more noise control than anything else, so we can get away with that. But it should be replaced. Ew, it's vile and nasty. I see they got the PI3 USB 3224s on this. It's a little USB 3.2 mux switch type chip, I think. They use them in the what do you call it, Nintendo Switches as well. I'm just clearing out the flux out of there. Oh, sorry. Thanks, folks. Click. You're not seeing much anyway. I don't think I've got a 1932 chassis, otherwise but then again, theirs is liquid damaged anyway, so it's more a case of I didn't want to risk any further issues. The chassis is buried under all of those 201 resistor packs. I need to get a bigger container. In fact, I need to overhaul my entire storage system for components. But it's one of those things where I'm holding off until such time that I get the new workshop, whenever the heck that's going to happen. Okay, so things I want to check is, okay, that's clear. This has got a burn mark on the ground shield, so that's not going to be a problem because we cleared that up. The screen is good. This here is burnt, so I'm going to leave this disconnected. And the battery has a bunch of junky stuff in it, so I might have to actually brush that out. That's annoying. Yeah, I know. It's spreading nasty alcohol all over the... We'll wipe it up. Wipe it up. There we go. Fortunately, it's alcohol, so it's not a big problem. Yeah, thumb down bots are now basically... Yeah, everybody's just saying to them, you have no power anymore. I mean, the message gets through to the content maker, so I can see how many thumbs downs were put in there, but they have lost their ability to influence people beginning to watch the video. And in some ways that's good, in some ways that's bad. Like, there are plenty of videos that I see on YouTube as thumbnails, and I look at them and I kind of think, you look kind of shonky to me. Not sure I really trust that you're going to have viable content in you. I think you're just a load of baloney. And that is where having the thumbs down versus thumbs up count is extremely useful, because it allows you to quickly determine if your gut reaction is on the mark, or likely to be on the mark. Now you're left with the option of, I'll take a gamble and watch this, or don't watch it. And maybe that's actually YouTube's intent. Maybe YouTube is trying to get you to watch it because they know that, being the curious creatures that we are, we do have a tendency to still investigate. I mean, after all, in every horror movie we consistently go down into the basement after we hear noises. So humans are suckers for being stupid like that. We've got to find out these things at our peril. Yeah, exactly. YouTube's about making money. And fair enough, it's their business platform. I get it. They've got to make profit. Okay. Copy in 5 volts. Just barrier against 20 volts. 20 volts, 60. No, that's no good. That could be DFU mode. Starts at 200. Oh, that's at 5 volts. So as soon as it switches to 20 volts, it's... Yeah. I'll see if it is in any sort of DFU behavior mode. Yep, I've woken the beast up. The beast is like, what do you want? Why do you wake me from my slumber? It's my 21-inch iMac. I just realised this might be because the battery's not connected. I can never remember whether this particular machine needs the battery or doesn't need the battery. Some of them, if you don't have the battery, that's as far as they go. They sit there and they squeal. They go, "We need battery. Battery, battery, battery. Feed us battery." And on this model, that's really annoying because the batteries are so often crap. 65, 377, 36. This could be charge current though. Certainly charge something. $3.75 steady. Look down the power button. Oh, power button's not going to do squat because it's part of that daughterboard assembly, I think, is it? No. 380. Just going to watch it for a minute, see what it does while I prepare the beast. Alright, that's not going anywhere. So I'll just go see if this fires up with the DFU. In itself is a bit of a tricky process. Then you get to see a butt view. That's a laugh, it still thinks it's connected to something there, which it is not. Not use accessory to Thunderbolt put on this Mac. What? Okay, let's give you 20 volts and plug you in and make the message go away and try the process again. Alright, that didn't work. Hold it for 15 seconds. DFUing is a pain in the backside. Oh, damn it. Wait, no. No, it's okay. I keep thinking the power button... Is it coming through that daughterboard? Can't remember whether it's going through the keyboard or the daughterboard. One way to find out. Hey Tom, thanks for dropping in. See you the next time when you've restored your beauty. Okay. What about the sound chip? That shouldn't matter. I've had these without that sound chip before for testing and it hasn't caused problems. But I do appreciate that you remind me because that is very easily something to forget. So thank you for that. Hey Greg. Oh, that's some seriously messed up daughterboard. Yeah, okay. Damn it. When will it end? I'm really starting to wonder whether I should find a 1932 chassis. Do I have one? Because I could really do with one. I've got 21 something chassis and okay, nope, not you. But I don't think I've got a 1932. What are you? You're a 1708. Don't try to tell me you're a 1932. That's a lie. Yeah, you're another 1708. Alright, gotta try the other room. Momo. I smell food cooking. I'm pretty sure it's not 1932. Oh, sorry, Momo. What are you doing, buddy? You wanna come up? That was a good jump. You can. I thought you'd just be asleep on the top the whole time. No, it's 2179. $21.59 rather. What is it? Oh, what is this? What? What are you doing? Hmm? Disturbed you from your sleep, didn't I? Huh? Alright. You get back to sleep. Get back to sleep so you can wake me up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. What are you doing? Don't jump down. Hey, what you doing? Yeah. Be a good boy. Ah. Cat fur all over my face. Is this not? Pretty sure this is a 21 something, not a 1932. I could be wrong. Wouldn't be the first time. Yeah, 2179. That's awfully similar to a 1932. Alright, question. No, the different keyboards are different. Flexes are different. Daughter boards are probably different too. But yeah, they're quite similar. But I do suspect sufficiently different. I believe the difference between this daughter board and that is like one resistor or something stupid like that. Fortunately, it looks like the Touch ID switch hasn't been damaged. So yeah, this would be directly inhibiting our ability to turn it on or anything like that. Oh wow, that's... And lo and behold, the speaker chip took a hit there too. Okay, so this is the 1124. Oh man. I would say take the speaker chip off, and there's a chance that it might, and we wash it, and the chance that it might actually be okay. Ha ha ha. Wishful thinking. But yeah, I'm fairly sure there is a difference in those boards, because I remember the board views came through. Yeah, I've actually got board views for these ones, these daughter boards. The board views came through, and at first I thought that the person had sent me the same board view twice, but they clarified and said no, there is actually one resistor, and they pointed it out, and yeah, it was legit. Yeah, I think you're right. There may be a problem on this board, Noosa. It's also a bit of a pain to get this to be held. I need one of those fractal clamps for MacBooks. Fractal clamps are a real thing. They really do exist, but not typically at this sort of scale. Well, certainly I've never seen one at this scale. I see them in normal workshop scales, not this scale. Well, that's definitely a trace that didn't make it, but the question is I don't know if that's a test pad or whether that's got something that's taken it to another place on the board. We'll have to scrape it back and find out. So I can find my surgical knife, whatever the heck I did with it. I'm supposed to practice my stabbing. Hey, you know... Oh, right. Oh, found it. Interesting. Why is my... There we go. Okay. So what we're doing here is finding out whether this has a veer to another place on the board, or whether it's just a nice, boring, safe test pad, and it looks like it was a nice, boring, safe test pad. Thank goodness for that. If it was a veer, we should have seen a stalk show up, but I genuinely can't see anything that even closely resembles a stalk. Okay, so we've got some bit of burning here, nothing too bad. Probably shouldn't mess with that too much, it's probably fine. We do probably have to touch these pads up. They have, see, they've sort of eaten the solder away from the electrolysis. So So we'll have to revitalize those. They're probably close to being disconnected. What? Why would I change my name to Roberto? When did that happen? I wonder what pin count is this? Oh, Roberto. Oh, yeah. Okay. Now I got it. Great. I set the joke up, and yet I didn't even realize what I'd done. Sorry. 44 pin. It kind of seems iPhone-ish to me. Okay, but the trouble is these are double banded ones, so that's going to be like iPhone 7 or higher. 6S might have them. If it didn't have those double bands there, then I would have given it a chance, but probably not. Alright, we'll just try and solder them. I'm trying to think if there's any other MacBook laptops that might have something similar, but I doubt it. iPhone 10 charge dock connector, could be. The whole thing is just begging to be reflowed though. I think I'm going to need some assistive heat, which is kind of funny on a board like this, but hey, Yoshi from Pune of India. We actually had a few customers from your area. Mind you, the place is huge, so it's no surprise. Not for repairs, but rather for my previous industry, which was software email filtering. You can see how just giving it this bit of assisting heat helps it get things solder down. Still having trouble with that second pad from the cat hair on the nose. That's too big a blob. I can't make that work. If the blob gets too big, you start melting the plastic before you do anything with the pads. And that flux is well and truly burnt. It's probably a solid mass now. Yep. Come on, you can do it. I don't really have roots from South Africa. Well, yeah, I guess it depends on how you define that. Anyway, yeah, I won't go on about that. I am genuinely Australian, but I've sort of just travelled around a bit for work. Yeah, that pin is absolutely unquestionably loose. This one here is borderline, so we'll just try and scratch it up. And they're all okay. Damn eyeball. Get that assistive heat in again. Nice thing is, you know, it doesn't melt the plastic. No! But the soldering tip will melt the plastic. God darn it. Ah. So I just would have preferred to replace the connector outright. Yeah, the only Formula One action I've seen since I see you guys talking about it is when I was working at Kyalami, funnily enough, in South Africa. And it wasn't the races that they were having there, but they were testing at Kyalami. So it was quite something. So I had my office, yeah, I could basically look out my office window and it was right there, the racetrack. And if we wanted to, we could, yeah, it was, yeah, when you go to some of these racing tracks and you see there's a whole bunch of office buildings around it, well, that's how it was with the Kyalami racetrack in South Africa. And it's a, they like to use that one because of its high altitude. It gives you a chance to check how good your motor goes in lower oxygen environments. I spent quite a bit of time in the office. I also, after that, also spent a lot of time on the road, going to the various game park resorts and things like that. I'll do what's required. Nice thing is I was given pretty much free run. As long as I delivered on the required things, all was good. No one checked if I was logging in each day, as in no one checked I walked in the door each day. It was just a case of, you know, if something needed to be done, as long as I got it done. It was a very good way of doing things, and I'm very thankful that I had that kind of boss, manager, whatever you want to call him, that would let that happen. It was good. It was very good. What did you do? What did you work as in South Africa? Jack of all trades when it comes to IT stuff. Initially, I was there to set up their websites and get the internet presence going, things like that. But then we found that I was more a person that, if there was something new they were trying or some kind of problem they couldn't solve when it came to IT, or they needed a solution for something, then that's where they'd usually call me in. And then, of course, I was willing to travel a fair bit, so they used me a lot for the game park IC service. Yeah, a bit of a jack of all trades. It kept me from being bored, and that was the important thing. Got to see a lot of the country, got to meet a lot of people, tried a lot of different jobs. I was very happy. Definitely an excellent 4 years in my life. And, I owe a lot of that to the management style that the chap that brought me over had. It is funny because basically we met in IRC group here in Australia. Back then, this was like 96, 95. There was an IRC channel called Hash Adelaide or something like that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Hash Adelaide. And we met in there, strangely enough, and they just says, "Oh, we're looking for people." Just casually, they were just looking for people that wanted to do web development for them. They needed some web stuff done, and they were in South Africa. Do you want the job? I was like, yeah, why not? I was in Brisbane at the time, not exactly happy with life. And so a couple of weeks later, I had my passport, booked a ticket to South Africa, and that was that. It was a fun way of doing things. Bit of a gamble, but yeah, when you're in your early 20s, gambles are everything you go for. I'm going to take that chip off. Things are almost as bad on this side. Yeah, I'll give it a scrub. We still haven't solved the problem with the connector, because even though we've fixed up the socket on this side a little bit, the plug on the flex is a major problem still. Pardon me. Sometimes it's a case of it's just scenario, it's just situation that leads you to do things like that. Without going into too much detail, let's just say I was single only just recently, and I only just moved to Brisbane recently to escape the fact that I became single, and that wasn't working out, and I wasn't really happy with the job that I had picked up. It was essentially, I went to the Brisbane branch of the store that I was the tech manager for in Townsville, and I just wasn't. It wasn't the same scene. I wasn't happy. And then the opportunity came up, and I thought, well, what the hell? I've got, I'm living out of a suitcase most of the time, so let's give it a whirl. To be fair, I was the one that did it, so it doesn't mean you don't feel the repercussion of your choices that you make like that. sometimes you feel it for amazing amount of time afterwards. And when I say amazing, it's not amazing. Sometimes you make choices and you got to live with it for a very long time. And it doesn't mean you made the wrong choice either. The right choice can still burn you for many, many, many years. I guess it's just tolerable because of the fact that you know it was the right choice. And even the other person knows it was the right choice. It doesn't change the fact that it still can hurt like hell. There's one very ruined speaker chip area there. Did you meet any Powerpuff Girls? In my many years of living in Townsville, unfortunately not. Funnily enough, I didn't know about that until I went to South Africa and I was watching the Nickelodeon Cartoon Network. And they were going, I just heard in the background, and Townsville, whatever, and I was like, what? What are they talking about my hometown for? And I realised it was a cartoon. Well, Travis, you can try that. At least it's only a week, right? At least when you're young and you don't have a huge amount of liabilities or dependencies, I should rather say. Dependence, not dependencies, dependence. You know, you have the opportunity to be able to do things like that. But as soon as you start collecting dependence, that's when you slow down. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a transition you make. But you know, if you've got a pet or it all just inhibits you from making those moves. So sometimes the best opportunity to make those moves is before you start putting other people, other creatures. Hey, there's a cap there. At at risk at your choices. All right, that's that. It's probably not great, but Travis Stamper, I'm your age, 3 kids, 7 grandkids. Oh, shit. Shouldn't listen to me then. Really? Crikey, mate. Yeah, I've never been one for replicating. And to the best of my knowledge, I haven't. It's not... I think I've completely lost a leg there. I don't suppose any of these are like phone screen connectors, are they? Come on, please be like an iPhone 7 or 8 screen connector. Yeah, mongrels, you're not. They're similar. Not wide enough. What's this? This is a iPhone 7. No good. I have a feeling I'm not going to be able to go much further with this because I'm pretty sure that leg's missing. Or is it just really effed up? Oh, it's really effed up. Close enough to missing. Great, looks like I'm encouraging people to make terrible decisions in their lives. As long as you guys don't blame me for any of it. It's kind of like blaming Kentucky Fried Chicken for being overweight. Come on. I just need to tape this down so that it doesn't move around as I try to work on it. Now this is special, not Captain tape. It's special because, well, it melts before anything else pretty much. I was planning to move to Perth a few years ago. Would have nice to do one day. Perth is nice, yes. Different country, but it's nice. Alright, if I'm looking at this correctly, those three bottom lines there, they all look connected, but I'm probably not reading it properly. If anything seems like it's going to be giving you an easier time, you're probably misinterpreting it. Kind of like when the bank... Yeah, I was misinterpreting it. It's kind of like when the bank offers you a cheaper rate for your loan. And you definitely really need to be suspicious of that. Banks have one purpose in mind: make more money. They're not going to tell you how to make less. But if you want to believe that, then enjoy losing money. Okay, I do not know where that... Maybe there was a trace there. Yeah, actually maybe there was a trace there. Damn it. Oh, I can't get any closer. Well, essentially what it seems to me is like this here I suspect is connected to these two, and that there henceforth I believe should be connected to those two. Alright, that is the case. Now the fun thing here is that actually, because it's ganged as a group of three, it's probably A, not actually essential for me to repair it, but B, if I do put wire on there, chances are it's not going to be anywhere near the sort of current carrying capability as what it should be, but we're still going to do it because we like to do these things. Now the only drama I've got right now is that I cannot find my special wire. Son of a gun, where are you? The wire that has the enamel that comes off so beautifully easy. Now I can have a look at this stuff, but I suspect this stuff is going to be way too thick for the task at hand. Maybe we can get away with it. It's about the 3/4 the thickness of the legs. Now what's the problem here is that it's not at the angle that I feel comfortable with. And before anyone asks, no, it's not really soldered there. It's not even remotely. Yeah, didn't think so. That likely might not work. Not something I would be proud about. I've still got all this burny stuff. Couple of traces almost dead there, in fact probably are dead. Yeah, that being the case, it's pretty much the end of the road for us. Look, I think that's eaten away. Yeah, that's eaten away. Sorry folks, that is the end of the road there. Without that, I cannot reconstruct that and have it fit into the assembly, I'm afraid. I'm gonna have to get some spares, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. That's the way it goes sometimes. It happens. I should have looked at that first, but honestly when I looked at the connector I didn't think it was that bad. But it was because of the burnishing, the vapor burnishing. I thought it was still a bit of copper there. But yeah, we're gonna have to leave it at that. I'll just order in one of those. So I'll have it before the end of the week, so it shouldn't be a problem. Oh well. Okay, well look, it's pretty late. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, so I think I should clock out. But I appreciate that you're all stuck around. But we may still have a win with this yet. but I do want to just make sure, we get the daughter board and everything right. I might see if I can pick up a 1932 chassis from someone as well while I'm waiting. I should have one. It is a common enough board for me to get in here, and they are frequently liquid damage, so getting my hands on a 1932 chassis probably is something I should look at. So, alright, I'm out of here. You all take care. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Catch you later.